This is the Construction Leading Edge podcast from constructionleadingedge.com. My name is Todd DeWalt. It's my job to help you, the construction business owner and leader, eliminate chaos and maximize profits in your business. Today I'm going to talk about right to left thinking and 6 ways that you can use it to grow your business, eliminate chaos, systematize your business, or just have more time, more money, more freedom. All right. But one thing I want to tell you about before we jump into that topic is I'm having a live meetup for construction business owners November 11th and 12th in sunny Sarasota, Florida. Again, live meetup for construction business owners November 11th, Sarasota, Florida. If you're ready to go rub elbows and network with other construction business owners, if you want to network and share ideas with like-minded people who want to work on their business, if you want to get away from the daily dumpster fires of running a construction company, and then if you want to learn systems to streamline your operation or scale up to handle the unprecedented demand you're dealing with, then this live meetup is for you. All the details are over at buildermasterclass.com/live. That's buildermasterclass.com/live. Hope to see you in Sarasota, November 11th and 12th. So let's jump into right to left thinking. 6 ways you can use right to left thinking to change your business, maybe even change your life. First of all, let's talk about the opposite. What does left to right thinking look like? And this is how most small businesses run. This is how I ran my small business years ago, and I want you to think about this. Listen and see if this sounds familiar. Let's say, we'll call him John, right? So John bids on a project, and then he doesn't really have a bidding strategy. An opportunity comes across his desk. He gets an email, he gets a phone call, bids on a project. Maybe he lands it, probably spends a lot of time estimating projects that don't go anywhere, starts the work, and then does the best he can with what he has at his disposal, right? Really focused on the next step. What's next? What do I got to do to get it started? What do I got to do today? Then John and his team are surprised by problems and delays. The projects get delayed. He gets handcuffed to projects and gets stuck there longer than expected, meaning he can't get to the next project. There are usually profit bleeds and cost overruns. John's getting hammered by opportunity cost because he's tied up on projects and he can't get to the next project. He gets to the end of the quarter, the end of the year, and asks, how did we do? With fingers crossed. Not surprisingly, there's typically little growth, little profit. John's a pretty frustrated individual because he's not really seeing any results. He's frustrated by questions like, why am I spending 50, 60, 70 hours a week beating my head against this wall and not having anything to show for it? And the problem is that the first time John thinks about the result is when he sees the result. He's not setting any sort of goals. He's not thinking forward. That is what left to right thinking looks like. Let's talk about a better way. And the good news is, if that sounds familiar to you, if you are frustrated by your results, the good news is there's a better way. And this is what I use with my coaching clients. This is what I share in my training content. And it's what I call right to left thinking. So let's jump in and talk about a few ways you can use right to left thinking. We'll start from big picture, macro level and take it down to a job site level. So we're going to talk about big picture, setting financial targets, sales, something I call nail the handoff, which is the number one strategy I use to eliminate chaos on projects. If you're thinking about hiring someone for a new role, this is going to help you. And then all the way down to the job site level. So let's start with the big picture level. And this is strategic planning, right? So here's how right to left thinking starts. The first question I would ask you is, why are you in business? Why are you doing this? Why are you pushing all your chips to the middle of the table, taking all of this risk to own a construction business? What is it that you're passionate about? Is it the design component? Is it are you a people development company masquerading as a construction company? In other words, are you more passionate about developing people and creating wealth and opportunities for your employees? Do you just love delighting the customer? Or are you all about the craft of construction and then everything else is just a means to an end? Do you love selling? Or is it that you love building a business? You love the idea of being a CEO and assembling a team that you can run. But why are you in business? What are you passionate about? And then the next question that a lot of people rarely ever think about and struggle to answer is, what do you want? What do you want? I'm not talking about what do you want less of. I'm not asking what you're frustrated by. What do you want? What do you want more of? What does your ideal lifestyle look like? How much are you traveling? How many hours are you working? What are you spending your time on? Where do you live? And how much money do you need to make that happen? Because this business is a means to an end, right? You're trying to support a lifestyle. And if you haven't ever thought of this question, it's time to ask, what do you want? And then let's start thinking, say, 2 to 5 years out. What's the vision and direction of your company? What does your company look like 2 to 5 years in the future? How big is it? How many employees do you have? What are you spending your time on? What is your role? Are you working in the field? Are you working in the office? Are you doing something else completely and this business is running autonomously without you? What type of clients are you working with? Are they business owners? Are they homeowners? What type of projects are you doing? Are they renovation projects? Are they historic projects? Are they ground up construction? Are they big projects? Are they small projects? What does your blend of projects look like? What about geography? Where are you working? Is it a big area or is it a relatively small circle that you're working in? And this is where right to left thinking starts showing up. Setting your vision and direction is establishing what the right side of the page looks like. If you were to put together a timeline of your business, what we're doing is going out to the right side of this timeline and saying, 2 to 5 years from now, this is what I want it to look like. This is what I want. And then we start working backwards, working right to left. Let's go back and set some 12-month goals. What do you need to do in the next 12 months to move in that direction? And then once you set 12-month goals, let's work right to left and establish some 90-day goals. What do you need to focus on? What do you need to accomplish in the next 90 days to move in the direction of that 12-month goal? And then once you have your 90-day goal set, what are the issues that you need to solve? What are the obstacles and the roadblocks that you need to get through, around, over, under in order to achieve your 90-day goals? This could be people issues. This could be profit bleeds, chaos. Maybe there are people that need to leave. Maybe you need new people. But what are the issues that you need to solve? And then don't stop there. Let's get to the root cause of those issues. Don't treat symptoms, but let's get to the root cause. I talk a lot about the 5 whys method. In the past, you can check that out. If you want to do root cause analysis, check out the 5 whys method. But figure out the issues, get to the root cause, and then put people, processes, tools, and systems in place to fix those issues. And then when you do that, when you set 90-day goals, you achieve those 90-day goals, then you get to the next 90 days and you achieve those goals. You do that 4 times in a row, and you stack up 4 good 90-day periods of achieving your goals, you'll achieve your 12-month goals. And then when you stack together 2 of those years of achieving 90-day goals, you've achieved your 2-year vision and you're moving in the right direction. So that's what right to left thinking looks like from a big picture strategic planning perspective. Now, one of the keys to achieving your strategic plan is financials. There are financial realities that need to be met in order to achieve your goals. So here's what I recommend. Very simply, do this. Once you know what your vision is, once you know what your goals are, set a net profit target. How much net profit do you want to generate from this business? What makes it worthwhile? What is the net profit that will support the lifestyle you want, that will give you the ROI that you need, and help you achieve your financial goals? Once you have a net profit target set, create a gross profit target that will achieve the net profit you need plus cover all of your overhead and indirect costs. Okay? And then we'll work from right to left and create a revenue target for the company for the year. How much revenue does your company need to generate to achieve all of your financial goals? Then let's break that down into a monthly revenue target. How much revenue, how much work do you need to put in place every month to cover your cost of goods, to cover your overhead and indirect expenses, and then generate the net profit that you need? Then we'll dial it in and create a revenue target per project. And maybe not all your projects, but you probably have a few projects that would fall into that 80-20 category, where 80% of your profits come from 20% of your projects, or 80% of your results come from 20% of the inputs. Let's establish a revenue target for those key 80-20 projects and understand exactly how much revenue you need to create per project per month. Then let's create an execution plan for each project that answers the question, what do we got to do to achieve the monthly revenue target for this project? Okay? And then imagine having a stack of execution plans that tell you exactly what needs to happen on each project to achieve your revenue goals. And then when you achieve those revenue goals, you will achieve your profit goals. This is what I call scheduling for profit. And it's focusing on driving revenue. So that's what right to left thinking looks like from a financial standpoint. I created a tool called the Revenue Maximizer that is probably, based on feedback, it's the best tool I've ever put together. It's a schedule template, it's an Excel spreadsheet template rather, with a training that goes along with it. And I share it with all my coaching clients, share it with a lot of the folks who've gone through my master classes as well. It's the best tool because it is the embodiment of right to left thinking, and it will help you establish your revenue target for the company, for the year, for revenue target for the month, and then all the way down to those execution plans. But that's how you achieve your revenue target. Set goals and then create systems to achieve those goals. Another part of achieving your financial targets is to hit your sales targets. It's one thing to have sales goals, and if you don't have sales goals, then this is a good time to set that. But here's what right to left thinking looks like from a sales standpoint, right? So we've established your revenue target. Let's say that revenue target is $6 million per year, right? I'll walk through a couple of examples in just a moment. So we have a revenue target. What is your closing percentage of the number of opportunities you propose on? Out of every 10 opportunities that you propose on or send estimates in on, how many of those are you closing, right? Once you know your closing percentage, we'll establish a number of opportunities that we need to propose on every year and then every month. And then we'll come up with a number of leads that we need that will give us the number of opportunities we need so that we can hit our sales target. So that when we hit, what we want to get down to is every month I need to propose on X number of projects. I need to have X number of leads. And if I do that, I'm very likely going to hit my revenue target. So, for example, let's say your revenue target is $6 million per year. That's your revenue target. And therefore, that's your sales target, which is $500,000 per month in sales. Okay, so the example will be $500,000 a month in sales. If let's assume your closing rate is 50%. So of the qualified prospects that you have and you propose to, you close 50% of them. And then let's assume that 50% of the leads that come in are actually qualified prospects that we can propose to, right? Not everybody gets an estimate, right? So one thing I'll tell you, if you're a builder, remodeler, general contractor, you need to stop giving free estimates to everyone, and you need to use the pre-construction services agreement. It will revolutionize your business. And if you're interested in that, head over to buildermasterclass.com/script, and you'll learn 3 questions you can use on your next appointment to get people to pay you for estimates. Sounds crazy. Maybe it sounds crazy to you, but there is a growing number of builders and remodelers and general contractors who have decided to end the practice of free estimates, and they're getting paid to do estimating. Okay? And I've talked about that quite a bit on the podcast in the past. So let's go back to our example. Sales target, $500,000 a month. Our closing percentage is 50%, and 50% of the leads that come in are qualified, right? So let's say we have an average project size of $250,000. That means we need to close 2 deals per month. That means we need 4 opportunities per month, which means we need 8 leads per month. So in order to hit your $500,000 sales target, based on an average size of $250,000 per deal, you need 8 leads per month. 8 emails, texts, referrals, whatever per month on average. So you need to create a system that will generate 8 leads for you. That's what you need to focus on. What do I got to do to generate 8 leads per month to get them in the door? Let's say your average project size is $1 million. That means you need to close 1 deal every 2 months, which means you need 1 opportunity or 1 proposal per month. And that means you need 2 leads per month. So your job is to come up with a system that generates 2 leads per month if you're doing $6 million a year and your average deal size is $1 million. Okay? So that's how your sales process works when you think about it from right to left. One of my clients in Australia has a whiteboard, and he knows exactly how many estimates he needs to crank out every month. He has a number. He has a whiteboard that has the sales number, and on that same whiteboard, there is a revenue number. He is using the revenue maximizer. He has set a revenue target. He set a sales target, and it provides so much clarity, and his business is actually growing more than he expected. So that's right to left thinking for sales. The next way this works is what I call nailing the handoff. A couple of months ago, I spent a few days with a home builder who's doing somewhere in the neighborhood of $40 million in revenue, building quite a few homes in a growing area, dealing with unprecedented demand. And some of the problems he was dealing with, there was chaos in the design process. His design and selections folks were meeting with clients after a contract had been signed by the real estate agent and going to make color selections and select siding and windows and basically having to start from scratch. Customers were coming in with completely different expectations. The designers didn't know what was included in the contract. So contracts were being signed for over $500,000, in some cases upwards of $1 million, and nobody knew what was included in the contract. And could you imagine the chaos that ensues from there? So that instead of going into design and selections, they're going back to square one, trying to figure out what did you sign a contract for? customers were having missed expectations. They were losing confidence. They were very frustrated. There were also quite a few delays because projects, instead of going straight into design, they were going back to the drawing board. There were profit bleeds. There were things that were being given away, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly, because of these missed expectations. And as we dug into it, it became apparent that the handoff from sales to design was the root cause of these problems. So we've spent 2 days digging into that issue, and then we've spent a couple of months implementing that. So the way to think about, here's how I think about projects from a process standpoint. A project is a series of handoffs. It's like a baton that's being handed off in a relay race. There's the handoff from sales to design, from design to selections, maybe, or it could be, in your world, could be from estimating to operations, from the office to the field, and then all the way through to the end. There's a handoff from operations to the customer, a closeout. So if you want to eliminate chaos, and what I've said, I've done this several times, people have flown me out to their office to eliminate chaos and profit bleeds. And it's gotten to the point where I can say, all right, let's talk about the handoff. Which handoff is the biggest problem that you need to solve? And in this case, it was the handoff from sales to design. And then most of the chaos they were dealing with was a domino effect of problems that were happening at that handoff. In a lot of cases, it's the handoff from the office to the field. So here's what I recommend to nail the handoff. If you're having chaos on your projects and you're tired of chasing your tail and dealing with profit bleeds and missed customer expectations, and maybe the worst is when your customers lose confidence in you and you get the sense that they don't think you've got it covered, then focus on nailing the handoff. Here's how this works. Step 1, start at the right side of the page. What does a fully handed off project look like? Let's say it's from the office to the field. What does your field team, your superintendent, your project manager, crew leader, what do they need? What is a full list of the information that they need in order to do their job? I like to think of the handoff a lot like a loan closing. You know, if you've bought a piece of property, if you bought real estate, there's a title company involved, and they have a list of stipulations that have to be met. And if there are 27 stipulations that need to be met in order to close that loan, and you have 26 of them met, you're not closing that loan. All stipulations, it's either all or nothing. And that's how I like to think about a handoff. If you want to eliminate chaos, have a very disciplined handoff process. Have this handoff checklist of all the steps, all of the information that needs to be handed off from one group to the next. Handoff checklist in an Excel spreadsheet. Establish roles and responsibilities. Here's what needs to be done, and then here's who needs to do it. Who is responsible for it? And then have a handoff meeting. Literally hand off the information to the field crew in this case, and they can review it, and they have the right and the responsibility to say, hey, this isn't complete. This is not ready to hand off. I still need this. And when you are disciplined about the handoff, and there is a clear handoff of information and responsibility, a lot of the chaos and a lot of the profit bleeds will be eliminated in your project. So if you think about it, think about the chaos you're dealing with on your projects and ask yourself, is this a handoff problem? Chances are pretty good it is. So that's nailing the handoff. Up next, one of the things a lot of people are dealing with right now is hiring new people. There's unprecedented demand. They are hiring new people not just to replace folks, but they're hiring people for new roles that never existed before. New project managers, new superintendents, designers, procurement managers, crew leaders, selections coordinators, etc. And in many cases, they're hiring for a role that they've never had before. So the problems that come up, unfortunately, on the other side of this, after the fact, after they hire someone, is there's let's say a new person is hired in to a new role, and they have no clarity on what they're supposed to do. They don't know what the process is. They don't understand roles and responsibilities. It's not clear what their responsibilities are, and it's not clear to them what everybody else's responsibilities are. They don't know what winning looks like for them. They have no idea if they're winning or not because they've never been told this is what winning looks like for you. As you can imagine, that ends up in frustration and poor performance, frustration on both sides. If the boss isn't clearly saying this is what winning looks like for you, chances are everybody's going to be frustrated. And the net result is, if you're the employer, you end up wasting time, wasting a lot of money on somebody. You end up doing their work, and you end up having more people to manage, telling them what to do, and then you may even end up firing them, or they may end up leaving, and you may end up thinking, wow, there's just no good people out there. And the hard reality you need to face is it's not the people's problems. If you aren't setting them up for success, that's on you. So here's what you need to do: how to think right to left before you hire someone, especially if it's a new role. Well, first of all, here's a couple of myths that you want to avoid. Something I've heard a lot from people who are hiring, say, a new project manager, a new design coordinator, new estimator is, I need systems and I need people, so I'm just going to hire this person, and then they're going to set the systems up for me. They're going to pick the software. They're going to document my processes for me. They'll bring their process. That sounds great, but it rarely works out, because what makes someone effective at their job is that they're good at using a system. They're good at working inside a system, not necessarily creating a system. So there are a few unicorns out there who are good at creating systems and running systems, but most people who are good at running inside systems don't have that skill set of creating systems. So avoid the myth that there's this silver bullet that you can just hire someone and they'll bring the systems, they'll implement them, they'll train all your people, they'll pick the right software for you. It's probably not going to work. You're going to end up being disappointed, and so are they. Also avoid the temptation to say, let's just get them in here and then we'll figure it out. Let's just get somebody hired. We just need to hire somebody, get them in here, then we'll figure it out. That's probably not going to work either. That's left to right thinking. Left to right thinking is, all right, what's the next step? Let's get some instant gratification. Hire somebody, then we'll figure it out. That doesn't work very well. Here is a better process. This is what right to left thinking looks like. First of all, go slow. There's an old saying from Navy SEALs, which is slow is smooth, smooth is fast, therefore slow is fast. So if you want to have good results, go slow at the beginning. Start slow, and you'll probably end up getting there faster. What's going slow at the beginning means is step one is not fire a job description out on Indeed. Step one is think about your organization 2 years from now. What does your organization look like? What does your company look like 2 years from now? Think about it this way. If you've never thought about your organization, there are three main parts to every company: operations, finance, and sales, right? Get work, do work, count the money. That's it. Those are the three main functions of every organization. Most of the other functions are going to fall underneath one of those three main categories. So design your organization. What are the roles that you need to get where you want to be 2 years from now? Who does what? You don't have to have names. You may think, man, I need somebody to run sales. I need a director of sales. I need a director of operations. I need a CFO. Great. Start with that. But start mapping out these placeholders for people and design your organization. What does your operations team look like? How many project managers? How many superintendents? How many designers? How many selections coordinators, etc. do you think you need in order to make that work? And who do these people report to? Here's one thing to keep in mind. You can have one person covering multiple roles. You can have one person that manages sales and finance, but each of those roles must be owned by a single person. You can't have two people leading sales, two people leading finance. There's an old saying, the best way to starve a horse is to have two people feed it. So avoid the temptation to do leadership by committee. It may take a village to raise a child, but it does not take a village to manage one part of your business. Single point of responsibility. So establish what your team needs to look like to get where you want to be 2 years from now, and then decide who do you need to hire first. You may think you need to hire a project coordinator, but it may become apparent I really need to hire a project manager who can step up into a director of construction role. Or you may realize, like one of my clients did, he thought he needed to hire 2 salespeople, but he really, after going through the sales process, and he realized he didn't need to hire people, he just needed to change the way that he was selling. He needed to ask better questions. But decide who you need to hire first, and then once you've established what that role looks like, map out the process that they will be part of. Step-by-step process that they will be part of. Establish roles and responsibilities for each step, what they'll do, what you'll do, what the other people around them will do. And then, again, fight the urge to post a job description on Indeed just yet. Once you have the process, once you have your organizational design, you're clear on what you need to hire first, map out the process that this person will be part of, and then create some training information for that role. How do they do each step? The process will tell them what needs to happen and in what order, but you need to help them answer the question, how do I do this? And you can use loom.com to do screen recordings. You can create text documents to do it, but you have to provide training information so they know what to do and how to do it on day one. And once you have that in place, now you're ready to post the job description. You'll know where they fit. You'll know that they are the right first hire. You'll know what they'll do. You'll be able to clearly articulate to them what winning looks like, and then you'll have a process to plug them into and training information that they can get started with. And when you go slow on the front end, you will speed up their learning curve, and ultimately they'll get there faster. Okay, now let's take it down to the job site level. How does right to left thinking show up on the job site? Let's talk about some of the common problems on job sites. Doesn't matter what type it is, residential, commercial, industrial. There are Gantt charts flying around, maybe posted on the job site trailer. Maybe you're pushing Gantt charts out at weekly meetings through Procore, CoConstruct, Buildertrend, etc. You have subs showing up on the job site, and they don't know what the priorities are, and you find yourself asking, why the hell are they working on that? They're just doing low-hanging fruit, doing the easy stuff. It's like herding cats, people moving in all directions. Maybe you see lots of activity on the site, but not a lot of progress to show for it. And it's because people are moving in different directions, working on top of each other, out of sequence, damaging each other's work. They're not coordinated. They're all pulling in different directions. So here's how you solve that. This is a page out of the Lean Construction Methodology Playbook. First of all, you start with your overall project. There is a place for that big Gantt chart in the sky. There's a place for that big overall critical path schedule. But that place is not sending it out to your sub-trades and assuming and hoping that they'll interpret it. Here's what they want to do. Here's what people, after managing a few $100 million worth of projects, from bathrooms to custom homes to $70 million high-rises, dealing with designers and developers and architects and contractors, people have two questions. They're really busy, and they have two questions. What do I got to do, and when do I got to do it? And the better job you can do answering those two questions for your trade partners and designers and customers, everybody on the team, the better job you can do answering the questions, what do I got to do, and when do I got to do it, the better your results will be. So start with your overall project schedule. If it's a big, hairy, complex project, break it down into phases. By floor, by section, break it into phases. What we're trying to do is break this into bite-sized chunks. If it doesn't need to be in phases, or if it does, once you break it into phases, let's break it into milestone tasks. These are bite-sized, achievable tasks that are going to happen, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks in the future. We're going to break this project into phases, and then if it's in phases, we're going to break it down into smaller chunks and establish milestone tasks like slab pours, framing, insulation, drywall, finish paint, punch list. The ideal milestone tasks are tasks that will cover up the other trades, and they push all the other trades to finish up their work in that phase or in that section. And then once you've broken it down to milestone tasks from your critical path schedule, you push those dates out to your team and to your trade partners. Here are the milestone dates for this project. We're going to break ground on this date, foundations on this date, framing starts on this date, etc. These are the milestone tasks. And then that might be enough for smaller projects, custom home, remodel projects. You push those dates out to your trade partners and your team. On larger, complex projects where there's a lot of coordination that needs to happen, you can use pull planning, P-U-L-L planning, pull planning. And here's the way pull planning works. And it is a beautiful thing. If you've never done it before, you may be reluctant to do it because you feel like you're giving up control. But here's the illusion of control. This is a mistake that I made for a long time. Is when you are sending out your schedule saying you have to be here, and you're developing this master plan in your office or in your trailer, and you come out and you present it to people, they are looking for reasons it won't work. And I learned this way too late in life. There was a situation that came up on a project 5 or 6 years ago, and this was a $20 million project, and we were in a real pickle. We had to get a section of the parking lot paved, and in the Louisville, Kentucky area, asphalt plants close around late December. And we had, say, 5 acres of section of parking lot of this large industrial building that had to get paved, and we were approaching the point where it wasn't going to happen. And we had a few issues that needed to be resolved, and the general contractor had forced these dates and tried to push the subs, and it just didn't work. So we scheduled a meeting, had all of the people that were affected, all the people who were key to making this happen in the trailer, and I came in, and I knew I couldn't tell these guys what to do because that wasn't going to work. I really needed their help. So I explained, this is what winning looks like. Guys, this is what's in it for us. If we don't get this solved, we're going to have a giant mess. We're looking at 7-figure damages here, and it's going to get real ugly real quick. So I laid out, this is what we need to do. We have to be paved before the asphalt plant's closed. And then I started asking for their help. And I started asking this question: what would it take to make this happen? So we started over on the right side of the page, getting this section done. having it paved was what winning looked like. And then we worked from right to left and we negotiated. I said, what would it take for you to do that? And they said, the concrete guy said, well, I've got to pour these sidewalks over here before I can do that. And I said, well, what if we took that off the plate? What if we reprioritized? And then the earthwork guy and the asphalt guy and the curb and gutter guy. And we walked out of there with a plan that would get us where we needed to be. And they executed it and it worked. And it was a beautiful thing. And I learned a valuable lesson that if you want a plan to work, it's not so much about the plan. What's most important is who is part of developing the plan. The people who will be carrying out the plan absolutely need to be part of developing that plan if you want it to work. If you try to force a plan onto somebody and tell them what they're going to do, they will look for reasons that your plan isn't going to work. And they will call you, and they will email you and text you and say, hey, Todd, your plan's not working, dude. But if you include them in the development of the plan, they will run through walls to make it happen. So get your team together, put the milestone date literally on the wall. This is what we need to happen. And then ask the question, what would it take to make this happen? What do you need to do? What do you need in order to make this happen? And that is pull planning. So that's a super simplified version. You can look that up. Look at pull planning. You can Google that. I'm sure there are plenty of YouTube videos that explain it better, but the psychology behind it is incredibly powerful. There are also a couple of other tools, really simple tools you can use for right to left thinking. One is the MIT list, the most important things list. Years ago, I was running a company, and I was frustrated by the quality of decisions people were making. And it wasn't because they were dumb or they didn't care. They were making decisions based on the best information they had, which was none. And it was my job to give them information to make decisions on. So I started publishing an MIT list. These are the A priorities for the next 2 weeks. Boom, boom, boom. These are the B priorities. These are the C priorities. So if they had spare time or something fell through the cracks, they didn't have to ask, hey, boss, what should I do? They would just go to the MIT list. And they knew exactly what would happen next. The other one is a simple 2-week look-ahead schedule. It can be done on a legal pad, in a spreadsheet, some tool. But the most important thing here with this is the planning process, getting the people who are actually doing the work, the superintendent, the crew leader, the project manager, looking 2 weeks ahead, planning what needs to happen over the next 2 weeks, and then working backwards from there. So to summarize, right to left thinking is starting with the end in mind, going out to the right side of the page, deciding what you want the results to be, setting goals, and then creating systems that will generate those results, operating from right to left. It works for big picture strategic planning, for financial planning, for your sales, setting sales targets, nailing the handoff, hiring for new roles, and all the way down to job site planning. And frankly, it will work if you want to lose weight, if you want to have a better marriage. It's all about starting with the end in mind, working backwards, and coming up with systems that you will follow that will increase the likelihood of you getting the results you want. So imagine this. Imagine that your business is running from right to left, and you decide on the result you want before you start. Every year, you know what your goals are. You have 12-month goals. You establish a revenue target for the year that gets you the profit that you want, that will pay you what you want, that will afford you the lifestyle that you want. You break it down into monthly targets. You may even break it down into weekly targets per crew or per project. You are transparent with your team, and you're involved with your team in developing the plan, and you tell them what winning looks like. You and your team figure out the issues that could get in the way, and then you make preemptive strikes to eliminate those problems before they even happen during the planning phase. Your team is aligned and focused on achieving the revenue targets and hitting the MIT list. They're bought into it. and they're taking ownership because they were part of developing the process. This pushes and motivates your team to focus on how they're going to win. When it comes to selling, you know it's a numbers game. So you build a sales strategy for the year. You have a lead generation number to hit. You have a lead generation strategy. And you know how much work you need to bid on every month and what type of work you want to pursue. When you're operating from right to left, every project, every initiative, every year, every month is started with a clear picture of the end in mind. That is right to left thinking. So think about that. What would that be like? What would it be like if your business and your projects were operating from right to left? And then what would be the ripple effects of that? Think about the ripple effects. How would it affect your stress level, the amount of hours you're working, how you are when you're at home, or how much you're at home with your family? Think about the ripple effects of right to left thinking. So I hope that helped you. I strongly encourage you to embrace right to left thinking. It's going to make your life easier. It's going to make your team's lives easier. It will make your customers happier. And it's a simpler, better way to run projects and run your business. So speaking of that, if you own or lead a construction business, there are two things that you may be interested in. Number one is the live meetup, November 11th and 12th in Sarasota, Florida. 2 days away from your business, maybe away from the daily dumpster fires of your business, surrounded by like-minded construction business owners where you can share ideas, build relationships, network, pick their brains, have relationships that you can take back with you and have people. Imagine having a few other people from around the country you can call whenever you have a problem 6 months from now. Well, there are a limited number of seats available for the live meetup that's on November 11th and 12th in Sarasota, and the price goes up soon. Right now, you can grab a seat, save some money. Go to buildermasterclass.com/live. The second thing I want to share with you is I have a one-on-one coaching program to help you systematize your construction business. If you own a construction business and you want to eliminate profit bleeds and chaos in your business, if you want to operate it from right to left, and you want to get the right systems in place so you can grow the business or simply have more time and freedom, you can schedule a free strategy call with me and see how I can help you. If you would be a good fit for this, have a free strategy call. And you can schedule that call over at constructionleadingedge.com. Click the button that says schedule a free strategy call, and we'll get that all set up. So check out the live meetup, buildermasterclass.com/live. If you're interested in working with me one-on-one to help you systematize your business, go to constructionleadingedge.com. My name is Todd DeWalt. Thanks so much for the ratings, the reviews. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.